Well, happy Tuesday to you, Facebook land. I'm so glad that you're joining me here. And this has just kind of become our go-to for a couple of times each week during this COVID-19. And I hope that you are having a wonderful, wonderful week. And hope that good things are happening in your life and that you're seeing the good hand of God in doing that. Dandelion Christians. That was the title of my message this past Sunday. And I tell you, I've had more comments about that simple little topical message than maybe any message I've preached in a long, long time. Dr. Mark Lyerly, who's been coming to our church recently, he shot me an article that was entitled 10 Things You Never Knew About Dandelions. And Gary Shiflett and Jessica Roach, they both told me in a text on Sunday, I'll never look at dandelions the same again. And then Randy Summers yesterday told me that he saw some dandelions in his yard and he was about to go take care of them, but he said the killer instinct was taken away and he let them live. And so, we were really talking about happiness and joy. That's what we were speaking of, the golden face of the dandelion. I've told my staff, and typically I say this at the beginning of every school year, I want them to be happy, I want them to be healthy, and I want them to be holy. And if a staff member and if a Christian really could get those three things down in their lives, let life throw at you what it may, you're going to be able to handle it. We talked about rejoicing in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice, and we said rejoicing is a choice. And I hope that you will choose today to be happy in the Lord. Can I add one other word, though, that begins with the letter H? I said happy, healthy, and holy. Can I transition and ask you to be homesick? What do you mean by that, preacher? Often we sing songs about heaven, and we kind of refer to being homesick. The song about Sweet Beulah Land. I'm kind of homesick for a country. And I think every Christian obviously ought to be homesick for that place that will dwell with the Lord forever and ever. And until we get to that spot, we're looking forward to it. What's the takeaway for using the word homesick today with you? I want you to be homesick for church. Some of you obviously have not been here for 11 or 12 weeks. And I know that some of you are staying in for reasons. You have your reasons. Maybe it's a health concern or underlying health concern. Maybe it is your age. But I want you to not get satisfied. I don't want you to be content with just watching church at home. I want you to get homesick for being back in the house of the Lord. I've tried to take so many precautions to keep you safe and to allow you to know this is an okay place to come back to. And one of the things we've done is to give a seniors only service. And that's going to happen tomorrow at 10 a.m. It'll be our second. I think we had about 40 seniors that came last Wednesday to be in the sanctuary while we filmed church. Obviously, we're still showing it Wednesday night at 7 o'clock for those of you who are working, and that is your church time still. But I want to encourage the seniors to come. Would you get homesick to be back in the house of God, in the sanctuary? It's clean, it's sanitized. You can spread out all over the main floor of the sanctuary. You don't have to worry about coming. It's a very safe place. But it's also a place where we can come together again as the people of God. Now, we are into our second Sunday now of having 2 morning services. And, this was just a part of the whole phased-in church situation, and everything's being phased in. It's not just church that's happening. Do you understand some churches, they still haven't come back? Do you know that there are some states that are actually bringing lawsuits against churches that are wanting to open their doors? We don't have that in West Virginia. And so I want you to know that it's safe to come back home. And so we're doubling our capacity is what we're trying to do. And there's a 9 o'clock service, there's an 11 o'clock service. Still need you to register for both of those. Look, would you go right now, right to the website for this upcoming Sunday? That would be June the 7th. And just click on it, says register to attend. And then 9 o'clock, put your name and how many, or 11 o'clock and put your name and how many. Now, here's one of the last things that we're going to do to help with this phasing in. I feel like some of you haven't felt as if you can come yet because there has not been childcare. And now again, everybody is saying be very careful about running your buses and bringing children in. Obviously, even big junior churches and getting crowds of kids together. But I do feel like that one of the things we can phase in that will help some of you families will be nurseries. And Mrs. Jones and I have kind of been going back and forth here on trying to develop our game plan. Obviously, she's our nursery coordinator, and she and I are even going to talk later today. And I'll let you know on Wednesday night, we'll announce, and then on the Friday Facebook update, which nurseries will be open. Right now, we're leaning towards trying to have at least 2 nurseries open. That would give a nursery for the babies and then maybe one for the toddlers. We typically keep them all the way up to their 4th birthday. So we'll have to just see how many workers we can get. It's probably only going to be, at least for this Sunday, the 11 o'clock service. Again, just being able to have enough ladies to be able to do this, to sanitize it, keep the toys sanitized while the children are playing with them. Now, we want to make this a safe place, but we want to also allow the families, the moms especially, to feel like they can come to church, put their babies in the nursery, and not have to worry about that. So please be listening for announcements there. And then the last thing about babies, there's a baby dedication that we have scheduled on June the 21st. And to be quite honest, we're not getting really any feedback on this. Again, I don't know, it may be too early. I need to know what you all are thinking. You may get a phone call from Mrs. MacArthur this week if you've had a baby and you're kind of on our list. We need you to let us know if you're planning to be here on that day. If you feel like you can take part in baby dedication of 2020. We've already had to delay it many weeks. It was going to be on Mother's Day, and now we're looking at June 21. And then obviously VBS, the digital VBS, that's upcoming too, and be listening for announcements about that. We're trying to do our best to just get this thing back to some normalcy, and I hope that you'll take part in that. So anyway, God bless you from the pastor's office. I hope you're doing well. I'm praying for you. I prayed for our entire church this morning, just so many of you that are dealing with things. Please know that you're not doing this alone. You're not going through this alone. We're in this thing together. Lord, even what's going on in America right now, would you take a moment to pray? Pray for revival in America. Pray for our leaders. Pray for each state where some of this unrest is. I'll be addressing that actually tomorrow evening during the crosstalk time. So just be in prayer. Look, pay attention to what's going on. We're in the last days. If there's anybody that ought to get it, it ought to be Christians. Don't put your head in the sand. Keep your nose in the book. Keep your knees bent towards heaven. God's going to help us to know how to get through this time. And we'll do it together. We'll do it as a church. So I hope that you'll be here either tomorrow for the senior service or on Sunday at the 9 or the 11 o'clock service. God bless you, Shenandoah Bible Baptist Church. Have a great week.